Good afternoon, Jeff.
Good afternoon, Ben. How are you?
I'm doing all great. How are you?
I'm good. I have a burning question right away. Right out of me.
Yeah, for them, for the people.
Well, for you and for the watchers, for the people. Maybe when we bring our wonderful guest Ralph on, he can answer this question right away. It's Thanksgiving week, which means Bucky. Twofold question. One, how do you bid? How do you tryptophan? That's my sleep better tip. How do you prepare your turkey?
Okay.
Oven, fryer, fried, or smoked. That's big. I did a test smoke of a turkey. And then two, if your cooking preference permits, stuffing in or out of the bird.
Oh, okay. See, I kind of thought Thanksgiving, your vein of questioning would be about the in the bird, out of the bird. We are very traditional in the McClure household, so the oven is the only way we do it. Not that it's the other ways aren't considered. We just don't know how to do it and haven't tried. So oven is good enough for us. And I like both in the bird and out of the bird stuffing. Of course, I have to be gluten-free stuffing. So I'm like always the buzzkill. I have my special stuffing over here, and everybody else has their both stuffing over here.
Mama McClure makes Benny's little stuffing crock. Yeah, he does.
Did you look? Little crock of gluten-free. Well, she's gluten-free as well. She's the OG gluten-free.
All right.
So yeah.
So if you're watching live, comment like in or out of the bird. I'm a big in the bird fan.
We know that.
I am like it's a whole thing for me. I just don't understand it. Kind of like we haven't tried anything else. So we do our turkey in the oven.
Yep.
I don't know. To me, it's like it's in the word stuffing. Where does it get stuffed if it's not in the bird?
That's a good point. That if you think of the root of the word,
right,
in the bird.
Yeah.
There's no other consideration.
Don't follow me for any other grammar or English tips, but that one I get.
And I know you recently smoked a bird.
Smoke a bird. That's down to like code for like back when you're in high school. Yeah, it had a funny cigarette behind the gym. No, I did. I smoked a turkey on the smoker. It was a lot of fun. It was very easy. Quite frankly, very easy.
Was it like juicy?
It was very good. Yes. Yeah. So quick little recipe there. If you have a smoker and you want to try it. So overnight brine, put it in a big pot, salt water. Okay. So literally salt and water. You can buy brine kits, but it's salt and water. You would want to do a 1/4 cup for 1 quart of water. There's your ratio. Overnight, 18 hours or so, 24 hours if you can. Bring it out, let it dry off, pat it dry. Make sure the cavity is empty of the moisture. Get a butter mixture, butter and whatever seasonings under the skin. Coat that over top, and then some turkey seasoning, if you will, or whatever kind of dry rub seasoning you want to put on top. In the smoker, we had a 15-pound turkey. Took about 6 hours. Really easy, just low and slow. 250, I think, was the temp. You can Google this, of course, or you can use my thing, and maybe we can make money like all the other YouTubers do with this recipe. But there you go. The Lancaster Connects Gardener's Match and some more brined smoked turkey recipe.
Now, did you have scrumptious stuffing in the bird or no stuffing at all?
I didn't do any stuffing at all.
This was like a pre-Thanksgiving run.
This was a run, yeah, test. I didn't do any stuffing at all because I wasn't. That'll be the second one.
Yeah, gotcha. So you're going to smoke again
this weekend. Smoke the bird again this weekend.
Love it.
Let's move on. Our poor guest is like, what did I get myself into? All right. So just a quick comment. It was Extra Gift Friday night. I had the opportunity to be downtown with the Off the Streets crew. Fantastic time. They did something very fun for their events and fundraising efforts, a bourbon and wine raffle. So if you do fundraisers and you gather people together, get them to bring a bottle of wine or bourbon or whatever your thing might be, and get that donated. And then they did silent auctions, combo silent auction and live auction for the good stuff. And I bought, courtesy of our friend of Gardeners and personal friend Larry Soraka, I bought a couple bottles out of his stock, Eagle Rare and Colonel E.H. Taylor. And those two bottles combined raised all but $600. I think it was $575. Yeah, there they are. That was on the way to to the event.
You were parked. You weren't driving.
And there,
photo of
there we are of the Fulton. Fulton generously donated that space to the off the street for the party. Tremendous night. They eclipsed their goal by 17 grand, raising $67,000.
That's fantastic.
It is. Yep. Just really great. And so whatever charity, there's 422 of them involved with Extra Give. There's obviously way more charities in Lancaster County than that. Time, talent, and treasure. Just connect to a charity, and one of those three things do. Volunteer to help them, give your talents to help them with their website, social media, graphics, whatever. Or if you don't have any of that and you just want to give them money, they'll take money. But time, talent, and treasure, connect to your charity that you believe in. That's our challenge to you.
Yeah, and of course, Extra Give might be over, right? Because that was this past Friday for 24 hours, but it's still 2024. There's still time to give in this year. Pick your favorite charity and continue to give to them. Doesn't have to be through the Extra Give.
Yep. Can be 365 days a year. So, but it's Black Friday week. And so a few Black Friday specials going around. Obviously, we have ours. You can go to gardenersmattressandmore.com/sales and check out what we have. We have great vendor offerings, but wanted to highlight a few here on the show. I'll let you do this one because this has all been.
Yeah, I mean, you put this together. I was pleasantly surprised to see a record store as number one here. Of course, Angry Young and Poor. They've been a staple in Lancaster County for like ever. Actually 29 years, which is pretty much forever. On Black Friday, they're opening at 9 a.m. And of course, they have all kinds of great merch, vinyl records. Actually, I perused their website last night and found a few records that I am interested in.
You don't say.
My wife didn't hear that. Right now, you can go to their website and use the code GRAVY10 for 10% off any non-music online purchase. But definitely visit them in person. Record store Friday is starts at 9 a.m. And of course, they have normal door hours during the week as well.
The joke around here is when the square rectangular cardboard buy real out in a while that happens to look like a record might be inside. If this guy has a real problem with the records because I don't tell a whole bunch of them show. I just
like 13-inch square books. Yeah, they're little like children's books. That's what they are.
So anyway, Broad and Brush in Lancaster. All right, their Black Friday gift certificate deals here. Buy 3 gift certificates, get 1 free. That's great, tremendous savings. All right, buy 3 gift card, get 1 free. That deal expires on the 30th. So stop into their studio this week to get that deal. So Broad and Brush, Lancaster, wonderful local store, and they've got some great specials.
Who's excited for a Black Friday sale? I know this guy is. Stop in this Friday to Once Upon a Child. Of course, this Friday, November 29th from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. for 20% off the entire store. Again, that's Once Upon a Child. And 70% off any market clearance item. Skip the lines and prices at big retail prices and fill your cart for less at Once Upon a Child. Pretty cool.
I like Once Upon a Child. I like the just between friends sales. I like the consignment thing. Less waste, more use. And you know what? Your kid, I don't know. I was never in the fan of like the $80 baby Uggs or, just not my thing.
Aiden didn't have baby Uggs. Doesn't seem like it.
One, Ethan got like that stuff, but it was like family members.
Yeah.
That did that.
Everybody, the aunt and uncle, they always liked that.
I mean, we didn't have much growing up. I saw through that. I'm like, you get Oshkosh. You get Granimal.
Yes, Granimals.
Yeah.
So anyhow,
Salesforce and Dow Hill, Lancaster County, was I wouldn't want to say landmark,
the Home and Garden Institution.
Home and Garden Institution. Yes. So their Black Friday sale has started. Save even more with their only coupon of the season. We have it on screen. You can go on to their website, onto their socials and get it. So they've got a coupon sale. It's the only one of the season for 10% off, or $10 off, that is. So wonderful savings there and wonderful people. So they helped us, and we're going to talk about this with our guest, Ralph, who is patiently waiting. We are overtime to bring him alert. Yes. About the human connection. It was Allison at Salesforce and Dow Chemical who helped us put our Thanksgiving photo set together and our Christmas photo set. I texted her twice. So you might look at them as like a big box store because they are a big box store, but not a big corporate store. But that personal service is there. She did our holiday photo set personal shopping. It was a great point of contact. Can't recommend them enough. Staffers of Kissel Hill.
So the first 4 we shared were about Black Friday. Do you know what Saturday is, Jeff?
Small Business Saturday.
Small Business Saturday. So you can celebrate this year's Small Business Saturday right here in Lancaster City. Discover Lancaster. They've got a great shopping list. Hunting for the perfect gift is easy. There's a ton of local, dedicated craftspeople and talented artisans. You're sure to find something special for someone special. Stock up on handmade gifts, small batch sweets, and specialty gifts. In fact, many of those things in that sentence, we've highlighted guests who make those items. So for a list of must-visit small businesses in Lancaster, check out the blog post on the Lancaster Connects Facebook page.
Yeah. So at discoverlancaster.com/blog. So that'll get you there and you can then click around and get to their blog.
We're not going to read the whole thing.
Yeah, it's a whole bunch of gobbledygook after the backslash, but discoverlancaster.com/blog. We've had Ed Harris on. Ed has moved on to help Virginians discover Virginia, I believe, is where his next stop is. But Ed Harris did a great job with Discover Lancaster and discoverlancaster.com/blog/Black Friday. You'll get there. All right. So that's that. Without too much further ado, we've had 13 minutes and 10 seconds plus of ado. Let's welcome Ralph Wichter to the show. Welcome, Ralph.
Hello.
How are you, sir?
I am wonderful and grateful to be here with you, both of you.
And I believe that because you are, we met a year ago at the Universal Athletic Club Expo show open house. And you and I hit it off. Just, man, you are just a great human being. And I said back then, we got to get you on the show. We finally did it. But here we are. And it's kind of fitting that we have a connection on the human level, just the people level. And we're here together in the week of gratitude and Thanksgiving, and grateful to have you join us. So let's jump in. Tell us who you are and the name of your company and why you're so connected to it.
Well, my name is Ralph Witcher, and I'm the founder of WitcherWay Wellness Agency. And, we actually got started with this back in 2017, where we started to an insurance, Medicare insurance, business. We got licensed and everything there. And we were promulgated by one of our friends. He is the former commissioner for Lehigh County. He said, Ralph, you do really great at what I do. And I said, tell me more about what you did. He told me. And then, one thing led to the next and we got licensed. And, I tell you, this is, the best work I've ever done before in the history of my life. Because I believe nothing matters until someone does. And being able to help people in an area that they have interest, I think is really where the abundance of life is found. And so this concept of helping people with healthcare, particularly with Medicare, is easier said than done. There are a lot of moving parts. It's highly regulated. And for folks that are achieving age 65, it comes up really fast. And then all of a sudden you have deadlines and the like. But being able to help people when they have an interest to get help in that area has really developed lifelong relationships with my clients in the process. So we have helped many people, nearly 1,000 of them in that period of time. We have essentially have both my wife. We celebrated 41 years just a week ago on Sunday. Thank you very much. And then our 2 sons working with us along with other team members. And we're just helping people where it makes sense to do so. So thanks for asking and giving us an opportunity to be here.
Yeah. And just to bring more light on it, the family business aspect I love, the husband-wife aspect I love, and the way you serve people is through, Medicare, health insurance plans. And it is confusing. You got Part A, Part B, then you got the donut hole out there somewhere that I've heard about. And it's also government run, which isn't exactly the model case of efficiency and human connection and helpfulness, right? It have to have this form by this deadline. You have to, if you're $1 over this threshold, you might miss out here, you might miss out there. Right? I mean, it's complex. And so what is the real, I mean, I feel I know what it is, but what's the real overlay for WitcherWay wellness of how you serve your people? Is it that human connection?
Well, it's definitely the human connection, but it's not just the connection. It's also, my great grandfather said to me many things that I live by even today. One of which is, he says, Ralph, two dummies don't make no sense. And that, so essentially what he was saying was, you do, in other words, you would do well to stand next to people that know a little bit more than you. This way you always have an opportunity to progress no matter what's happening around you. And I've learned in this life that focus equals genius. And here's the truth, okay? When we get a chance to find someone who's focused in an area over years and decades even, you have to give respect to that person and even honor, because you never know what breakthrough they can bring for you you ask the question, they give you the clarity that, you could come and go your entire life and never have relevance of. So that's what we've done. We've deliberately and intentionally and strategically chosen to focus our efforts in the area of Medicare. And today there's over 10,000 people turning 65 for the next 20 years. We're here to help them in a meaningful way. One of the big things that we do to make a difference is we listen, and we've learned to listen generously. I truly believe that no one deserves to be helped in an area they're not interested. However, if they have a vision in mind and they just don't know how to bridge the gap between where they are and where they're going, and I could make that plain for them, showing them the alternatives, the options, along with the trade-offs going one way or the other, that's generally speaking what most people are looking for. They can make, very informed decisions if they have accurate information. But I've learned that a lot of people have knowledge, but not everybody has accurate knowledge. So the difference between making that plain for folks is really what they're looking for, and that's what we do.
Love it.
So Medicare is a big focus of yours. What are some of the challenges that people face when looking at Medicare options, and how does WitcherWay Wellness help them through that?
Well, the first challenge is fear. A lot of times people fear the unknown. They don't know what it's going to mean to them. Not just the concept of, in our nation, it's mandatory to go on Medicare when you turn 65, with a few exceptions, like one, perhaps if you work for the federal government or you have an employer that has over 19 employees and you choose to stay on that plan, or you are in the military and you have coverage there. But generally speaking, everybody gets to go on Medicare at some point, generally speaking, either 65 or shortly after that when they, start to go on retirement. I will tell you that I have a client just this year who actually just turned 94 this year, and they just got their Medicare started. Him and his wife, they're doctors, neurologists, and the like, and they worked up until 93. And they got their
good for them.
Started with them, yeah. But that's generally, like a unicorn and all of it. But most people somewhere around 65, 70 or so, they get going with Medicare. And we just basically make it simple for them, understanding, that we give them a roadmap. We lay it out. We take a look at, where they are and where the options are. We give them, we really believe that things make sense when they make sense, and the client is always supposed to be the first to know. So we basically just give them the information that's accurate and then tell them the options. And I said, well, how do you feel about that? And if they feel good about that, then we feel good about that.
Yep. And one of the ways you said vision, you help your folks uncover their vision. And I think maybe people hearing this and watching it might say, vision, healthcare, Medicare, what? Well, vision doesn't always have to be like, here's my business goal. Here's my personal goal. Here's my athletics goal as a student athlete, right? Vision could just be getting through that cloudiness of fear, as you said. My vision is, I do need health insurance coverage. I have maybe a limited resource, or I have a lot of resource, but I don't want to overpay. I don't want to underpay. I don't want to be exposed. I don't want to have a liability where I don't need it, right? Is that the vision you're talking about?
In part. But the other part of that vision is this. We help take them on a journey. I've learned that a genius is a person who solves a problem before it happens. So I asked the question, if we could zoom out 5 years from now and you're not having this conversation, you've been in Medicare for 5 years, and you tell me this, Ralph, I made the absolute best decision that I could have ever made, with my healthcare. And then we look back 5 years ago and we look at, my question would be, what would have actually had to have happened over that 5 years for you to say that 5 years later? And then I listen, because at that point, they may say something like, I had a lot going on medically. And, it actually came in total for that period of time in 5 years, maybe close to $1 million, but I only had to pay X, right? That may be most important. The other one may be hey, best situation is, I had a couple things happen, but for the most part, I didn't pay for something I didn't need. And I was able to pocket the difference, so to speak. So it's a matter of listening generously, understanding what's important, and moving forward accordingly.
Yeah. I love it. I love how you're so clear on this. And that's why when we met a year ago, November, or a year ago, beginning of this month, we got to get Ralph on the show, because you can feel it. You can feel it come across, genuine desire to help people and just wisdom. You said it was your great grandfather that said two dummies don't make no sense? What was his name?
John L. Bean. He was born Mobile, Alabama, April 20th, 1917.
Wow, that's cool.
And I can tell you that my great grandmother, she was born in Bainbridge, Georgia, and she was born November 8th in 1903. So she actually robbed the crib when she married my great grandfather. She was like what do you call it? The original cougar.
The original Mrs. Robinson.
Yeah.
And what did your great grandfather do for work? What was his trade or skill?
What they did is that they did it together. My great grandmother and great grandfather, they worked for Campbell Soup's company. My great grandfather did it for 25 years, and my great grandmother did it for 30 years. He worked in shipping and receiving. I actually have a copy of his one of his pay stubs back from the 40s or something like that. And he actually, what they did on their meager salaries, they had vision. They were people principle. And at one time, he owned real estate, probably 13 or 14 houses. And,
good for him.
Yeah, just really great. So that's what they did. And they taught me, again, a lot of things. Like one in particular was my great grandfather. I would come home from school, first grade, second grade, third grade. And he would, I was sitting on the porch and he swung his head over to me because I was sitting on Mama's chair and I was to the left of him, right? He was to my right. He swung his head over to me and he like that. And he says, never let that be you. And I said, what are you talking about, Big Pop? Then he took his head and swung it out over there. And I said, you mean the guy over there across the street with the hat on? He says, that's right, son. Never let that be you. And I said, Big Pop, why do you say that? He says, that there, son, is a man with a $100 hat on a 5-cent head. Never let that be you.
That's good.
That's great. That's great. Well, thanks for sharing a little bit about him. That's awesome.
So, by the way, since you mentioned it, let me just tell you, I think that there's a elephant in the living room type of opportunity for communities. First of all, I love what you guys are doing. Can I tell you why? I would say that both you, Ben and Jeff, are two things. First and foremost, you're local and you're vocal. And you really give a voice to those that may not have the facility to do so. And that brings, watch this, there could never be any community if there's no unity. And I think that you are unifying, the community by giving, others a perspective, insight, access to understand that these resources are available. So I think that's very neat. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Well, and I would say the same for you. You're vocal. You're local in the way of you've got this real connection to a person nearby that can get on the phone, get on a Zoom call, take the time for you to go over all of this stuff. And so let's really kind of dig into your approach. I mean, we've got the navigation of Medicare, what resources are available, and then how do you keep, let's just start here with these three. So the the navigation of it all, the resources, and then how you keep the person in focus, right? That client-centered approach.
Well, a lot of the times, if I were to put it in a simple point, I do it in writing because there's a lot of moving parts, and they have questions, and then I explain it, and they get it, but I also document it, so I send it off to them. So if they do business with me today, or if they do business with me a year or 2 years from now, at least they can go back and look what we said, and we could pick up where we left off without a challenge. But I also know that, the secret sauce and secret weapon, I believe in our success in the regards here, doing what we've done in this period of time, is there's this concept called trust. And, for some, trust is a must. And that means, if I were to put it plainly, trust is a treasure, because when you can actually show folks that you're genuine, you're sincere, you're credible, you're visible and available to help them in an area that they're interested, that is a differentiator. And it doesn't require an introduction or anything else, because people can see that these qualities are few and far between where they're found for folks when you need them. So that's the big picture. Just being there to help them, listening generously, documenting what we've talked about, being there for them, and alleviating those fears. And, look, here's the net of it. We all have options. I have, my mother told me when I was a little boy, I could be anybody I want to be when I grow up. But I've also learned that, when you show up, show your whole heart up. And so I've done the same thing here. And over the time that I've been there, we're considered premier platinum producers and the top 2% of agents in the country for UnitedHealthcare. UnitedHealthcare is the 5th largest company in the United States. AARP, voice of seniors in our nation. There's almost 40 million members there. I've had the great good privilege of serving on the advisory council of the AARP advisory council, where the top executives of both organizations get together 3 times a year, different parts of the country, to do 2 primary things. One, to identify new unmet needs of Medicare beneficiaries. And 2, to stay relevant as big as they are. It's very important to stay agile and relevant. The other is to help avoid potential off-the-cliff outcomes, by doing disaster checks. They're making changes to products or plans, and they would value to have, the perspective of someone who's on the front lines like our agency, listening out there in the trenches day to day, helping people in every way. And that's what we've done. We've had the privilege to do that for 2.5 years. So that's the big picture. We actually just help people in an area that they're interested, and we stay informed. Just being able to stay abreast of not only what it is and how it works, but where it's likely going is also a big picture of all of it too.
Yeah. A question comes to mind for me when you said avoiding some of those pitfalls and those, I think you said falling off a cliff, right? Is there obviously, as a licensed agent, you have to respect privacy. I'm sure there's a HIPAA law component. So I don't want you to speak in any regards that way. That's an issue for you. But maybe in a general sense, could you share a time where maybe an update happened that affected a broad swath of people? Maybe somebody came to you thinking they had a very defined plan because their friend did it and that's what they wanted, but in reality, it would have been going off a cliff for them. Are there some examples like that you can share and really bring on through the context of why working with you is such a critical part of having success and peace of mind with this part of your life where you are on Medicare? You do have to update your plan and programs.
Right. So for instance, one example is someone who gets on Medicare isn't always 65 years of age. They may be less than that. I have had clients who are 18 years of age, but due to disability or other types of entitlements, they may be eligible to get access to Medicare. And then in Pennsylvania, if you're under 65 and let's just say on disability, you have to be on disability typically for 24 months before Medicare eligibility would be afforded to you. But if you do have that, at that point in time, you have a 6-month window to go into what we call a Medicare supplement plan versus a Medicare Advantage plan. And you could be 40 years young and you can come in and get access to a Medicare supplement plan, which is a tremendous benefit. And you can come in and it's available to you. But if you wait after the 6 months, you will not be able to get access to that capability or that particular plan until you're 65. So that's like 25 years later if you're 40 years old. And if you didn't know that and you went forward just thinking, I've had clients have that, and it's like, oh my gosh, I just wish I had known. There are many countless examples, as you can imagine, through the years. But I mean, what you don't know could end up costing you. A lot of times what happens too is you hear somebody, they talk and they say, well, I would only do this and this is why. But no one really understands what your situation is when they say that. And so they look from the context of what their reality is. And so they're not necessarily going to take the time or even have the background and education and knowledge and all this to even do that, to put it in the proper context for the individual. So we actually just take the time and have these, what we call exploratory conversations. We have them over the phone. We have them in person. We actually do them we do public presentations. Like we just had one on Friday in Quakertown. We cover 14 states, but we meet with people all over the country.
Wow. Yeah, that's incredible. That's a lot of faith. You're a big group, but again, here you are giving really helpful advice. And, I think as much as you and even us would like to be able to drill down into specific examples, it's really hard, as you said, because one person to the next, it's just so personalized. But our goal of bringing Ralph to you all this week is to show there is somebody that cares deeply about this part of a tremendous population set and their lives and their well-being and really their life. Because if you don't have access to healthcare, if you're fearful of going to the doctor without coverage, you could genuinely, I guess, pass away, right? Because you just don't get something checked out.
Well, I mean, not only that, I mean, we have examples of a client who came in just having the knowledge and looking at all the options and putting it in proper context. Like one customer came in and we looked at the Medicare Advantage versus the Medicare supplement plan options. We went through what's the benefits and the pros and cons of the both. They chose to go with the Medicare Advantage plan, but they also chose to go with what we call a hospital indemnity plan to go with it. So what that is designed to do is you do have out of pocket. The Medicare Advantage plan is you get in for low or no dollars, but you do have potential exposure financial if things go cattywampus health wise. And those could come to maximum out of pockets of $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 or more dollars in that calendar year. But what they did is they chose to go that route and get what we call a hospital indemnity plan that would offset those risks or the obligation to pay for hospital stay, this, that, and the other. Customer actually got involved and 3 months later was having an issue, went to the emergency room. They diagnosed cancer in the intestinal esophagus. And then, they were in the hospital and they went through the whole thing with chemotherapy. But here's the good thing, because they did what they did, when they called me and they told me what's going on, we handheld them. They got the bills from the hospital. They got the bill, diagnosis for the cancer and everything. And they received literally a check for like $16,000 because of the hospital plan. And this is what they said. They just called me back 3 weeks ago. And this is all this year. They went to the surgery. They went through the skilled nursing care facility to get back to walking properly, everything like that. And they did the MRI. They're now back home. He said, Ralph, clean bill of health, no cancer anywhere, and the like. And
tremendous.
And the thing was, they said, Ralph, I don't know how we would have been able to do this without you, because it's not just having to deal with the health, getting back on the health saddle, but it's also about how do I deal with this extra cost that we've incurred. And so it actually got them better there because of the way they set things up. So, I mean, that's the thing. Let me just reiterate again. I believe vision is everything. And I think that if you can paint a picture of, we have more choices than we can make, than we realize often about the future. If you say, well, this happened, what would you like to happen? And we actually show you how to bring that to life if it's important to you. And if it's not, then you know that you're willing to take the risk on that. And it's okay if it's okay. But we at least give you education on it.
That's awesome, Ralph. I love the concept of helping them both. Well, obviously, the mental health related to their physical health, but also the mental health related to the financial stress of everything. And the fact that you can help them through that is awesome. I know with Medicare, there's like with anything that somebody could invest in or make a decision on, there's myths and misconceptions. What are some of those for Medicare, and how do you at WitcherWay Wellness help them through that?
Well, I mean, I think there's on both sides, like one, just generally playing out, oh my gosh, Medicare, I'm going to die soon because this is the end of my life. But I'll be able to tell you that I have a client who actually, when she turned 70, she actually got on a bike, flew out to California. She lives in Pennsylvania, flew out to California, and then drove from California all the way back to St. Augustine's, Florida on a bike at age 70. Okay. So it's not like an imminent death sentence because you're 65. The other part is, as it relates to penalties, yes, there are penalties, and those penalties can stay there for the rest of your life if you, whatever, but they're not coming after you. We actually educate you on how it works and assure that you don't get those penalties if you do these things this way. It's like easy peasy, nice and easy. The other part is, what about the cost? Sometimes people look at a Medicare Advantage plan and they may say, oh my gosh, I may go bankrupt being in a Medicare Advantage plan. And they think that, if they have anything happen, it's going to blow up and they're going to end up owing thousands and thousands upon thousands of dollars. And I actually said, well, let's take a look at an example here. And I compare that to, you've had a healthcare plan when you work with your employer. Do you know how that works? You have your deductibles, your premium payments, you have your co-payments, you have your max amount of pockets. I said, you have the same thing here. I said, but it's better when you get to a Medicare Advantage plan level because I also represent employer plans. They are generally front loaded. Meaning if you have anything happen, like you have to go in the hospital for one time in a year, you're going to max that thing out very likely, but not so with the Medicare Advantage plan. So we educate them on all that. We document it. They see it. They look at it both ways. That they feel good about it, and we move forward when they do.
Yeah. So I'm going to give a real life example of proper planning, working with professionals, and really kind of setting that fear aside, right? The fear of the unknown in any situation is real for everyone. My father-in-law, he unfortunately passed of brain cancer May 3rd of this year. It was very quick. Spent, I think it was about 3 weeks in the ICU when everything kind of blew up, and it was the onset of this big issue. Yet to be known, it was brain cancer. I share this because he was a planner. He had fears in his life, but he didn't have a fear around planning. And he didn't have a fear about setting up and limiting liabilities. And when whoever he used to set all this up years ago for himself, his health insurance, his care, Medicare was part of his stat options. He went through being admitted in the hospital in February of this year and then ultimately passing, going into a rehab hospital and then being in a hospice care center. I think the total out-of-pocket that his estate paid for health insurance and related expenses was under $500.
Wow. That's right. That's exactly right.
And so when you have the right people in your corner, and this is why we're bringing Ralph and his team to you, as terrible as that is, think about you've built your legacy and what you've left behind, and then your estate has to settle that debt, or you can be proactive and leave your legacy behind to your children, as my father-in-law did. And, look, I'm still here selling beds, so it wasn't that big. But his planning honored his wishes.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think that's really important. And Ralph and his team, in a way, they can help you do that. Right. And God forbid anything happens to any of Ralph's clients. I don't want that to happen, but it's just life. Life has other plans. And your planning and your expertise can really help people navigate in the way that my father-in-law set himself up with his professionals. And so I just wanted to share that because it can be so powerful when you can set aside that fear and work with great people like you, Ralph. So thanks for what you do.
thank you for sharing that. I truly believe that there's life, but then also believe that there's abundant life. Now, and the difference between the two is a plan. That's it.
Hmm.
That's it.
Yep.
No mysteries. So what we do is let's have a conversation. If it makes sense, you're going to know, and we're going to move forward when you do. But it's exploratory. There's no obligation to that. But what you don't know could keep you in fear.
Yeah.
And most people, and I'll just tell you this, just to not get too philosophical or anything like that, but most people think that darkness is evil. I'm telling you, darkness is not evil. Darkness is ignorance, right? And I've learned that there's ignorant. Ignorant is when he doesn't know. And there's compound ignorant. Compound ignorant is when he doesn't know he doesn't know. Let's just have the conversation. This way you can actually have accurate information and thereby make an informed decision.
Yeah.
I love the Ralphisms.
I think they're actually passed down from great-grandfather and grandfather and father.
He can't take credit for them?
Nope. Nothing original.
Yeah. What we have on screen right now, schedule that 30-minute Medicare consultation. I'm guessing people can grab that right from your website, WitcherWayWellness.com. Is that right?
That's right. They can click on the time that works for them. That's available in my calendar. We do have actually a couple of weeks left before the annual enrollment period is up. And so that means during this period of time, you could actually, make any changes you like. You can evaluate. And let me also tell you this. If you have a Medicare supplement plan, you probably have a Medicare Advantage prescription drug plan. Those plans are annually contracted, and you would do well financially to understand what the differences are. Every year, right around September, the second week in September, all the insurance companies for both Medicare Advantage plans and also prescription drug plans issue what they call an ANOC document. That's ANOC stands for Annual Notice of Change. So the plans that you have with prescription drug and Medicare Advantage plans, those are annually contracted plans. So you want to know what those changes are, and you want to put those changes in mind according to what medications you're taking or changed from this year to next year, or anticipating that, and then across all the options. And we can kind of give you a perspective on that, so you can always understand that you're moving forward to your great good advantage for the big picture. And so we're here. We're happy to have the conversation. And I'm, again, really honored to have this time with you all today.
Yeah. Wonderful. And that's probably, we always kind of frame our conversation around some bullets to make sure our listeners get the most out of our time together. And that's kind of that support beyond enrollment, right? It's not just, hey, let's get you signed up for a plan and you call us maybe. I don't think that's the way WitcherWay Wellness and the team works, is it, right?
I've actually had clients call me and say, Ralph, after understanding what you do, for somebody to go online to do this, they'd have to be out of their mind. Because what happens is, once you if we can help you transition into a prescription drug plan, for instance, that makes us agent of record for you for that prescription drug plan. That means we get to legally advocate for you in these processes. So what we tell our clients, if you have any questions, our relationship actually starts once you're in the plan January 1st in this example. You have any questions about anything, you always call us first. We can likely get you an answer quicker with greater outcome than the alternative calling 800 number. Mm-hmm. What happens is, because of our stature, when we call in, if we have resources to be able to resolve certain issues, but if we don't have the capability there, we'll do a 3-way phone call with you into home office. And because of our stature, we get bumped to the front of the line, so there's no waiting typically. And then we get routed to an escalation team, which are normally supervisors, so that the people that we're talking to are more capable of resolving issues if there are issues or mountains to be moved. And what happens is, we normally frame it this way: I would do the talking, right? You and I will meet beforehand, understand what the issue is, and I do the talking for you. You'd listen to it, and I'd say, "Is that about right? Did I sum it up right? Great." And then we have the dialogue that way. It makes it very simple, succinct, and the like. And sometimes our customers have actually called in to back in a number, not just, you may have had that on anything, but you end up outside the country to deal with something, to solve something locally. And they understand English, but you may not understand their dialect of English. And that just causes further potential frustration and not what anybody has in mind. So with us being agent of record for you, we can continually advocate for you. And this is doing so the best reason, it's the reason why we're alive, because we believe nothing matters until someone does. And our clients matter to us.
Yeah. It's funny. We have a saying around here. We don't one night stand our customers, right? Mm-hmm. And you never call 1-800 who cares. You always call 717-299-6228. And a live person always answers that phone. There's a lot of talk in our industry about turning your phones over to AI chat and trying to, distill some of that conversation into some chat log or, automated AI human sounding response. And it just doesn't, it's not something that juice does not, it doesn't excite me, right? The juice out of the squeeze doesn't excite me there.
But can I tell you why? Can I tell you why though? Because if you look up underneath the hood of it all, or if you pull an onion back, the skin thereof, you realize that the whole thing is actually, I'm not going to say it's a sham, but it's really all about the transaction.
Right. It's not about the people.
The nickels, noses, and numbers of it all. But it's not about you and your dream come true. And that's I think, a differentiator between what we're doing together. And I want to say I was very impressed with what you guys do in the sleep business. And I will also say, if I may, that I believe, and I've watched people with different types of, life statures. And my experience is this: a lot of ailments potentially in a person's life come as a result of not getting a good night's sleep last night, and not getting a good night's sleep the night before, the week before, the month before, a year. And then all of a sudden you end up like, who did it and when? And then you're taking everything else, pills and all you needed was a good night's sleep. So I think that being able to put things up that way is really a good thing. So I like what you guys are doing. It's really, you deserve a greater audience at it.
Yeah.
Ralph is going to be on our next TV spot.
Yes, you'll have to be. You'll have to be. So I guess our parting question.
Yeah, the future of health insurance. I'm sure WitcherWay Wellness has their kind of eye on the pulse there. Anything coming up down the road that our watchers, I almost said watchers. It's become a word. If you watch past shows, Ralph, you know the term watcher. It's a watcher listener. So I'm sure you guys have your eye on the pulse there, or your finger on the pulse of what's coming down the line for health insurance. Anything you can share with us, or anything coming from Medicare that you could help our listeners out with?
Yeah, change is the only constant there'll ever be. And I will tell you that there's changes in technology. We all know that, concerning AI. There's changing in legislation. We know that 4 years ago, they actually passed, 4 or 5 years ago, the Inflation Reduction Act, and we're enrolling like year number 3 and 4 out now. And that's had significant impacts on things, some very positive and some like not what anybody had in mind. So there's going to be a lot of those changes you can anticipate. There's a lot of changes with regards to virtual medicine, the teledoc sort of thing. That's not going away. It's going to actually likely increase in different ways. So people have to, get more familiar with using technology or feeling good about using technology for those things. There's other changes involving special needs. I think that there's a more like the way things are happening with inflation, and then just limiting income scenarios of many of our clients. They're going to need help. And a lot of the help that they're going to need is human help. Just like having the assurance that they could do this and get through this sort of thing. Mm-hmm. Whatever those changes are, okay, whether it be on a political, law change, technology change, different needs on your end, we're here to, once they're abreast of them, communicate those very clearly and accurately, and then just be there for you as a voice of reason, a trusted voice, an advisor in these regards. And I believe in this life that you ain't nobody till you make somebody somebody. So we actually help people, just where they're interested, and that helps them stay the course of achieving their dreams for life. So that's it. I mean, we're here, and that's the big picture. And I'm just really honored to have this great, good privilege to being with you. And this is very exciting for us.
Yeah, love it. To your point of telehealth and technology coming in, it dawns on me as you shared that, like if you have a parent or a grandparent that is getting into those Medicare years and is being pushed towards technology, I think a way you could help them is, get on a Zoom, a Google Meet call, a FaceTime call, get them familiar with the device that they probably have. They probably have an iPhone, but they're using it like a flip phone. So help them with their home screen, help them understand these apps, get the repetitions in, because it's going to be really hard for someone who's only done a couple Zooms or Google Meets or FaceTimes in a moment of crisis, have that first telehealth virtual doc appointment, right? So I guess what I'm saying is help your loved ones out, get more familiar, because it's going to be more and more a part of their life, whether they like it or not, but do it in a fun way. Connect with their grandkids, their nieces and nephews, right? With you, and just have those conversations that way versus on the phone. And you'll help them get the reps in. We're all very familiar with tech, but they're not. Some might not be. And so it could be a good way to help them out as this becomes more and more of what plans are going to be in the future.
Yeah. And if I could just add to that, just one other thing for change, just for those that are listening, I would just encourage you, if you're not mindful, you could have a mindset of something for nothing. I want something for nothing. And that's going to be your overarching, modus operandi going forward, making all your decisions. Well, what are you going to give me? And that's the only thing you see. But then that's like good to be penny wise, but to the extent of being pound foolish, maybe not so much. I think as we go forward and all these changes are taking place, you may actually not get access to all the free things that you got, in the heyday of all things. But you still have, this stay the course. I mean, it's not a bad thing. And often don't just jump ship for something, the newest shiny thing. Stability and having, a ground zero understanding of, consistency and knowing what to expect. Like I said before, off the cliff outcomes for expectations for things. It could be worth its weight in gold as all these changes are coming about. So again, it's been a privilege. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, thank you for all you do. We've gotten to know you really well, but we got 3 specific questions. We call them connection cocktail questions that kind of peels back the essence of Ralph Witcher. And so I'll start first. What is your favorite holiday or holiday tradition?
My favorite holiday tradition is, ready? The holiday of birthday. Yes. Can I tell you why? The challenge with holidays, even particularly when you make them favorite, is that they only come and go after the day is over, typically, or the week is over. But when you celebrate birthday, you could celebrate that every day, meaning that every person that you meet, or they have a birthday, and it may very be that day. You could set out your day to find someone who has a birthday that day, and that can make your day to just say happy birthday to that person in a meaningful way. So I celebrate birthday.
There you go.
Nice. I love it. That's a very unique answer that I think we're only going to get from the one Ralph Witcher.
Question number 2. All right. If you could go back in time to the beginning of time or anywhere in between, where would you go?
I would actually go back to the future.
Okay.
Yes. You saw a movie, right? Yeah.
Sure. Where we're going, we don't need roads.
I would go back to the future because I believe time is an interruption in eternity. I believe eternity is the maturity of all things. So I would actually go back to the future, because if people can see what I can see, you get very excited and happy because it's better than you think.
Gotcha. Very cool. Well, I mean, these are twists on the questions that we didn't anticipate.
I think answers of the year right here. All right. What is your favorite fall thing to do for you and your family?
Well, for years, it was actually going out to the children. We have 4 children to the apple orchard, and we just kind of get that in there and go pick some apples and then, enjoy them. I remember before I became a father, we would go to this place called Tice Farms. It's up in Wickliffe Lake, New Jersey. They would have my great grandmother's favorite apple called the wine sap apple, and they would keep it there, throughout the year. They would freeze the apple, so we would do that. But in the fall, we just love the change of colors, the scenery, and then how could I actually not tell you that my favorite thing to do in the fall is the annual enrollment period for Medicare.
Sorry to be self-serving.
Yeah. Love it. Ralph, this has been such a joy. Thank you for being here and being you, all the amazing work you do there for people that are getting on Medicare, have those questions. Again, WitcherWay Wellness. You got a great guy with Ralph and his team. It's a family business, his wife, his sons, all in the business to help you. Please hit up their website. If you have questions, if you've got that fear that's holding you back, book a call with him. He's a giving human being and a great human being, and you won't go wrong connecting with Ralph and his team. So, Ralph, thank you for being with us today.
Well, it's an honor, gentlemen. Thank you so much. It's really an honor to be here with you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you.
Have a great day.
Yep. Just I met Ralph and got to bring him to Lancaster Connects. I'm so glad we did. So
you should make a list of all the Ralphisms.
We're going to throw that into AI. They're coming out in about a week or so.
Yep. Love it. Yep. We're going to wrap up the show.
We do.
I mean, about that time.
I don't know why you're looking at me, but you don't know what maps. Usually you go. Do you want me to go first to plead that?
I could do the testimonial. Switching gears, Gardner's Mattress and More, the four walls in which we sit here. That's the business we co-own together. We help people wake up happy every morning. And we got a testimonial. This actually came in over the weekend, opened it up this morning. This was pretty cool. We actually last week we highlighted Chad, and Chad was the salesperson on this person's order, Tanya.
The other two all got to step it up.
Friendly competition. Chad was casual and not pushy. They had a lot of questions. Tanya had a lot of questions, and he was very patient. The store was unusually busy the day we came in, and he made sure to attend to all who came. So that's great. We're very happy to have stepped in at Gardner's and do business with them. Every worker we had contact with was great. And that's, one of the things that I think makes us happiest is when we can hear that sort of feedback. A lot of times in a retail environment, you might work with one person. Well, here you might have multiple visits, or you might have an interaction with the salesperson during your sale, and you might talk to this person because you have a question on the phone, and this other person might call you to schedule delivery. And then, of course, we have two people delivering your mattress. You actually might talk to all five of the people here besides Jeff and I. And it's cool that Tanya recognized that every person that she talked to here she had a positive experience with. So thank you, Tanya, for your words and your business with Gardner's. And thank you, team.
Yep. And my sleep better tip, we referred to it in our conversation with Ralph, is wellness, happiness, and productivity. It is sleep. It is very simple. A commitment to sleep. We live in a society where sleep isn't valued, right? We have got exercise gurus, diet gurus, fitness gurus. There's a thought leader for almost every modality and thing you can do related to diet and exercise. But sleep is that third stool of a life well lived and a healthy life. And we shouldn't shortcut it. And so commit to a sleep routine, commit to getting good sleep, commit to setting up what is good sleep and what encumbers good sleep. We go over all of that in the book. You really can improve your life through better sleep. We believe that. That's what we focus on here. And you get your free book when you go to gardnersmattressandmore.com/sleep-better.
Producer Chris has got that right there on the screen. Look at that.
Like he knows what Purdue.
My goodness.
Yeah. That his name, by the way, on his license. It's producer Chris. First name, last name.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah, it would. So that's the show. And Black Friday week. We also have Small Business Saturday coming up this Saturday. That's actually how it appears.
He's up from fit, though.
He's graduating.
Moving up.
It is Black Friday week. We've got some wonderful, wonderful deals for you. Everything's on our site, gardnersmattressandmore.com/sales. Savings from our vendors, savings that we're offering. We've rolled out, just it dawns me there above my head, we've got now bedding bundles where you have even more savings with all of those sleep essentials that unlock the mattress and really bring out all the benefits it can do. So please do stop by. We'd love to be able to earn your business and help you wake up happy. That is our commitment. We're here all Black Friday weekend. We are closed Thanksgiving, like most sane businesses are. But we're back regular hours on Friday morning, 10 to 7. And we'd love to see you in the store. So with that, have a wonderful, wonderful Thanksgiving. We are grateful for you, our listeners, our watchers, and then our groupies, the watchers.
That's right. Yeah. Hey, have a good time smoking that bird.
I will. We're going to go smoke the bird. All right. Hey, have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Enjoy your food, your football, your family. I guess the 3 F. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving, Lancaster. Take care.